Greetings and welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, as it says right here, David Danto, and I'm in OFS offices, in the OFS office, something like that, in the Empire State Building, at an event that's taking place from Neat, Zoom, Shure, and OFS. And we're going to walk around and talk to some of the people that are representing those companies, tell everybody what they're showing, and it'll be a good show, so stay with us.
Zach, we're just going to do a quick little interview here, if that's okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Jensen. I'm with Shure Incorporated. I am market development and really excited to tell you about what we have here today at the NEAT event. So we've got our MXA 902 ceiling array product. This has microphone, speaker, and DSP all in one. We also are offering and showing here our MXW Next 2 two-channel all-in-one wireless solution. The benefit of these products is that we're able to solve for very acoustically challenging spaces when used in conjunction with the NeatBar Pro. So we're able to provide that high quality audio. We're also able to solve for VIP high quality audio that might be at a farther distance from that NeatBar Pro device. And the way to integrate that is with this easy device here. It's the Ani-USB. This allows us to have a USB interface to the NeatBar Pro, and we're able to complement those spaces that are larger or acoustically challenging with products like our two-channel wireless solution, the MXW Next 2, and the MXA 902 ceiling array with speaker.
Now, I know that this is primarily, we're discussing it for the NeatBar Pro, which is awesome, but is that standard USB? So could that be used with any USB input on any device?
Yeah, so this is just standard USB. It could be used with any device.
Plug it into a computer, it'll look like a microphone, and people could use it.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, great. And are these available?
These are all in stock and shipping now.
And how can people get more information?
www.shure.com.
Super excited to bring you here with four incredible organisations doing NEAT, Shure, Zoom, and OFS. Now, some of those companies you may have heard of, some of them you may not have heard of. So that's the best part of what we're doing here today, is that we're all coming together as four organisations and hopefully taking you through some incredible food.
Awesome. My name is Brianna Bloom. I am a product specialist here at NEAT.
And Sherry Pippola. I'm responsible for our global alliances at NEAT.
Terrific. So what are we looking at today?
So we are today in the Empire State Building in New York in OFS's offices, where we're showcasing some of our solutions in real life scenarios for what customers would be able to see with different furniture setups and our relationship with Shure. So today we're showing a few different kiosk modes of what customers would see in their real life environments, either in home offices or in their building setups and different conference rooms. And Brianna's going to take you through what we're showing today in a couple of the setups.
Terrific.
Yeah, so in this scenario, we have our 65-inch NEAT board, right? We have two different variations, but this is our 65-inch all-in-one NEAT board. So camera, speaker, microphone, compute, all built into one. You don't need any additional stuff hiding behind the screen or under the table here, right? Single cable for power, single cable for network. As well, and like I said, interactive touch display. It does have two interactive pens if you guys wanted to walk up a whiteboard, or you can use your hands as well. And then we also have our scheduling panel here, our NEAT pad. In a scheduler mode, this can run in as a room controller or as a scheduler. So in this mode, it is paired to the NEAT board here.
Terrific. And underneath?
So underneath here is our NeatBar Pro. This is fantastic for larger room sizes, up to 35 participants. This also works great with our partners at Shure, right, for third-party audio. Does support third-party audio via the USB-C port in the back. Pairs with the NEAT pad. We have it out right now just to kind of share and pass around.
Okay, terrific.
Yep. Also in this mode here, in this specific setup, we are going to be showcasing how easy it is to stand up companion Zoom rooms. So right behind you, we actually have a bar Gen 2, which we'll cut to, but really easy, right? You just click this icon, switch to companion Zoom room, and you can actually pair it to any room, right? So if you had this on a carded solution, you could wheel it in last minute, pair it to a front of room NEAT device on the fly.
So the idea would be that if that is the meeting room device that we're on, but somebody says, hey, you know, I would like to get a whiteboard, I'd like to do some demonstration, that's when you would wheel in or bring in or perhaps even permanently install this device in the room on the sidewall, and then by hitting the companion mode, all of a sudden they're both in the same meeting and it's easy to work together. Right?
Absolutely. And on the fly, right, if you were to pair this in the companion Zoom room mode, you could have your own resource account, right, signed in on this device already, or you can leverage the existing resource account in that room, just
so
depending
you don't
on
need an extra license.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. And I know we're here today because of the graciousness of Zoom, one of your partners, and we're looking at it in Zoom right now, but it works just as well on Teams, I assume.
Correct. Yes, natively in Teams as well on all of our devices.
So what room are we in now?
Yeah, so we are in the New York OFS Executive Conference Room. We are in here with the Neat Bar Pro. This is fantastic for larger conference rooms like the one that we're in right now. You know, everybody can be seen, be heard. This camera, there are two 50 megapixel cameras and 16 microphones, so really can cover a nice size space. You know, this has symmetry, deep noise suppression, all of the neat goodness, right? We can ideate and talk, but you know, you notice that there is a seat here, and also a seat at the other end of the table. In this scenario, right, when you have somebody sitting here and we're all collaborating and talking, the far end can kind of seem like that second-class citizen, right? I'm going to shut my video off, they're not really paying attention to me or looking at me. So now we've added in as a companion device to the front of room, the Neat Center. This gives you a fantastic view, right? When everybody's ideating, it actually will work in tandem with that front of room camera and switch back and forth, depending on where it sees you best, right? Historically, our devices are catching object detection, right? Catching a human body. This is also catching a human body as well as eyes, nose, and mouth, directional audio, etc., right? So now it feels like every person has a laptop in front of them as we're talking, so I'm looking right at the individual. As well, when I get up to present, right? Normally this camera would be right in the dome, right? And we don't want that. We want to be able to have a flattering view, so I could stand up, walk around, and that gives me the flexibility without needing somebody to touch the Neat pad and kind of DJ and switch back and forth. It's doing it for you.
That's actually a great point that most people don't make, that you should really call out. When you need a camera for a front of room presenter, most firms traditionally would put one on the back wall and mount it. We're talking about Neat Center to provide these beautiful views of the people at the table, but it's also just a drop-in solution where you can get the presenter while they're talking, and it has the intelligence to not only switch to the right camera, but to switch to the better microphone on both arrays when somebody's talking. And it's doing that continuously now with your latest update, correct?
Absolutely. So now, depending on where the user is sitting closest to, will depend on which microphones pick you up. So in this case, I'm closer to the Neat Bar Pro. You know, the Bar Pro microphones are going to pick me up. If somebody at the head of the table, right, is starting to speak, and maybe they're a lower talker, right, a lower speaker, that microphone will initiate and kick in, right? And they work in tandem. There's nothing that the user has to do to initiate that. It's doing it on its own.
And this is a particularly, well, I don't want to say bad environment. It's a beautiful room, but you know, you're dealing with glass walls, and you're dealing with fire engines and police cars going by, and Neat has a voice isolation feature that's going to make it sound like you're very close to an individual microphone even when you're not, correct?
Absolutely. So we are, you know, really, we call it deep noise suppression, right? We're not automatically muting anything, right? We're just suppressing that non-human sound and frequency to the lowest it could possibly be and gaining that human frequency.
And even removing the reverbs and removing the echo.
Yep, absolutely, with the voice isolation update. So that's built into all Neat devices, our smallest all the way up to the largest room system, as well as in our Neat Center.
Terrific. A couple of other questions for you as we look at this. Obviously, you're here with good partners, with Shure, with OFS, with Zoom, and we understand how all of this works together. But a question comes up that with all your terrific noise cancellation and noise processing and voice isolation, it's very expensive to put in a ceiling microphone in fixed ceilings like this. You need outside contractors and AV integrators, and you have to do reflected ceiling with sprinklers and PoE and other things. With the quality you have with your microphones in the room, do we see ceiling microphones even existing in the next 5 or so years?
So I would say that we've got a couple different ways customers are looking at this. There is, with Shure being market leader, significant installations across many customers in many geographies. They have quite a few installations already out where customers are now saying, okay, I focused on the audio, a great experience with Shure, but now I really need to focus on my video. So can you work with Neat? And so that's where we come into the equation and we add on to the amazing experiences that are already in play. Customers are also, though, defining rooms and use cases ahead of time. So they'll say, I've got my huddle, my small, my medium, and then I've got more my custom and large rooms as well, or my more acoustically challenged, if you will. Those rooms are where we are leaning in with Shure. And like you mentioned, in rooms like this, that it's hard sometimes, especially we're here in New York, getting contractors to be able to come in and core into ceilings and things. But Shure does have some new products that allow you to have limited AV integration. They've got a very big success around that ease of use for install, like we do at Neat, that lets you drop the mics down. Don't necessarily have to be flush install like you've seen kind of in the past as well. And so we've got customers now that are building out kind of a definition that when you have a room that's X number of users, or the table is X large, that is where you need to bring installed audio in. And that will help them. So our amazing technology with Center can cover quite a bit, just like you saw in the room here that we have today. But as soon as the room gets to a certain size or configuration, that's where we really jump in and have Shure help us out.
Okay, that's great. And then the only last question I ask, I know you're about 40 days away from a big analyst briefing that will be taking place in Oslo. Don't talk about anything that'll be NDA or anything that you're not supposed to say. I don't want to get any of us in trouble. But 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, I mean, Neat is known primarily for its engineering ingenuity, you know, for that Tandberg DNA, that diaspora that's out in the industry right now. What kind of things do you think we can see going forward from Neat?
Absolutely. So, Neat Center is fairly new out on market, and so you're going to continue to see us enhance and build upon the capabilities. We've already got customers with seen great experiences with Center. How can you make it even better? And so we'll be talking about, what is going to be happening as we continue to move forward with making not only our patented solutions with symmetry and boundary and also what we do with noise suppression, but continuing to make it even better in Center. And then there's a part of the business that we haven't even talked about today. We mentioned Zoom, we mentioned Microsoft from a platform perspective, but we have an entire ecosystem of App Hub partners that we are working with as well that are currently in beta, coming out of beta, and we're talking about AppSpace, Utelligy, NeoWit, those types of applications that make the experience in these rooms even better, or able to schedule them easier, do virtual front desk applications, things like that.
Room sensors, even.
Correct, yes, right, absolutely. Where customers are really video enabling their enterprise, but they need the data. How are the rooms being used and what's happening in those rooms? And really the API that comes out of our devices through Pulse allows that capability. So you're going to hear a lot more about that as well, without me stealing too much of their thunder.
Robert Beavers, I'm a Zoom Spaces specialist based here in New York, and you can tell by my accent. And I look after enterprise market accounts in North America.
So I'm here with Robert Beavers from Zoom, who is also at this event today. And what's Zoom doing at a roadshow like this with your partners Neat and Shure and OFS?
I think one of the most interesting things about Zoom Spaces is that it used to be called Zoom Rooms, and now I'm Zoom Spaces, because so much time I spend talking to my customers are not really about the room anymore. Yes, we are very interested in that, but it's about getting people into the office. We need to earn the commute, and I think mandates have failed, and we've had difficulty making sure that people feel comfortable within these offices. So therefore we're working with the manufacturer like Neat and a furniture manufacturer like OFS to make sure that the office is an integrated experience. Technology can't solve every problem. We need to sort of think these problems through. So that's why we're here.
Terrific. So what is Zoom showing today in terms of how it integrates in a space like this?
So the main thing, the first thing you're going to see is Zoom Workspaces. So the ability to be able to find, reserve, book, check in a workspace. And for us, a workspace encompasses everything from a physical meeting room to an individual space, but also perhaps a prayer room, a nursing room, a parking space, a locker. And we want to be able to make sure that people feel comfortable. So some people do it ahead of time the night before. Some people do it on the phone on the subway on the way in. Some people do it when they get to the scheduling device that's on the outside of the room. And so getting people to find somewhere that's sort of easy to work. And then the other one is that the magic words of AI and AI intervening and saying, hey, Dave Danto's sitting at this desk. You're in the same team. Would you like to sit together? Or you sat at this desk last time, but Dave Danto's sitting in it. Here's a commensurate desk with 2 screens and so on and so forth.
Is that something that comes up on people's smart device if they're just like getting ready to go into the office, or do they have to be here for that?
They have to be here. Yeah, it's a good question. They have to be here for that, and so they come in and they'll see, they'll go to book and then it will offer. The AI will offer, or you can ask it to suggest a desk, and then it will suggest a desk on your history and something like that. What's coming next is you book a meeting room for 30 people, and then the AI will say, well, actually, only 5 people are coming into the office. Can we move you to a commensurate room size, freeing up that 30-person room for another meeting?
Okay, so here's an unfair question for you. That's actually not unfair. It's actually kind of cool. Outside at the front desk here, when I came in, I was taking a look at the neat frame, so I'd be able to do some of the things that are going on. When you look at the neat frame, do you think Tandberg 1000?
Every single time. Yes, I remember when I had a Tandberg 1000 when I was in Tandberg UK in the early aughts, and then when I came over here in 2006, I had the Tandberg 1000 without a shadow of a doubt, and I always loved it. The thing about the neat frame, which is really, really interesting, is it's fantastic for a kiosk environment, but it's amazing to be able to use Zoom rooms in when you're in a multi-site call. But what's really interesting, I have a large law firm, remain nameless, out of the New York area, who are using neat frames at printing stations, because they found that they've got so many tickets around printing. It's such a waste of time on their service now. So at each printing station there is a frame with having trouble printing, press this button and it instantly calls someone in IT and they talk them through it.
It's a great device. It's interesting. I've always loved that form factor because no matter how much you can do on a general compute device like a PC or a Mac, just having that dedicated device to start a call just makes life a lot easier.
But also the form factor is really interesting, is that like I have a screen, a big screen, but I don't use it all. I'm using bits of it, right? And so therefore the form factor is absolutely perfect. So yeah, more and more customers are really, really appreciating it.
Okay, so the calendar's coming up a couple of months, Zoomtopia this year.
Yep.
It's going to be a little bit different, more virtual, although I hate that word, and less in person. Anything you can give us a hint without doing anything NDA of what we're going to see at Zoomtopia this year?
So you're going to see some really interesting stuff around meeting equity, like really name tags, smart name tags, voice tags. So you record your voice and it picks you up a voice and then goes, oh, that's Robert Beaver, so I can identify who is the speaker. And also that becomes really important because when you do an AI transcript, it didn't say user 1 or meeting room 2 was saying XYZ. Instead it says Robert Beaver said XYZ. So you're going to see some stuff around that, and there are some cool new products I'm not yet allowed to sort of talk about, but I think you're going to see it's going to be quite exciting.
If we want more information about Zoom, or if somebody wants to reach out to you or reach out to Zoom to find out what's available, where do you suggest they start?
Start with me, robert.beavers@zoom.us, and I'll always point you in the right direction if I don't know the answers.
Thanks very much, Rob.
Thanks, everybody. Sure, I'm responsible for our global alliances, so everything that we do with Microsoft and Zoom, Shure, and think about any partner that doesn't resell our product, but we work together to make your experiences better.
All right, so that's it for this week's episode of UC Weekly News. I'm your host, David Danto. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.